So what is it like to stay in a hostel in the UK in 2024? Hello everybody, hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm back with a really fun one today. I thought we would leave London for the day and for one night and see if we could do it in the cheapest way possible. So I did a little bit of research, and the cheapest journey that I could find was taking the Megabus from London Victoria to Bristol, and the cheapest accommodation that I could find is staying in the YHA Hostel. So I'm really excited to spend 24 hours in Bristol for a little escape from London and to let you know what it is like taking the Megabus and also staying in the hostel overnight. How about this for a bin? You press the pedal and it sings to you. So I'm really excited to be exploring Bristol on a budget with you today. It's a little bit windy here down by the water, and you might be able to see the Matthew ship just behind me over there. Do stay tuned until the end of the video where I'll give you a full breakdown of all the costs for the transport and a little review of the accommodation as well. I'm traveling with my partner and a couple of friends. We've actually booked a 4-bed dormitory. For a cheaper price you can book beds in mixed dorms as well, and they have a few different private dormitory options. So I'll give you a bit of a review and overview of that later in the video as well. And with this being a budget break, I thought we would start things off with a little wander around and a trip to the Shed Museum, which has free entry. So the journey up here was actually really nice. Going out of London Victoria on the Megabus had scenes of Kensington. It takes you past where the Chelsea Flower Show is. You also go along the Thames and you get some fantastic scenery on the drive along the motorway to Bristol. It wasn't stopping anywhere, so it took 2.5 hours. So yeah, really pretty pleasant. The coach itself was on the small side. I know with some Megabus coaches you can get the double-decker ones and ones with larger seats. So I probably wouldn't want to be on that particular one for more than 2.5 hours. It was a little bit squeezed, but there were things like USB chargers. I don't think there was any Wi-Fi on board this one, and also you can reserve seats, so we were able to reserve some seats near the front of the coach, so you've got your seats, and you know, if you want to sit next to somebody you can reserve those seats for a little bit more money. But I'll share all the costs with you at the end of the video, and I'll pop some more information in the description box too. Right, we're just outside Shed, so let's go and take a look inside. So this is Bristol's museum, Bristol's Story, and it's open Tuesday to Sunday 10 till 5 with free admission. So it says here that in the 90s, Bristol became known as the centre for new media and animation. So here we have Wallace and Gromit, and you can see over there some of the intricate skeletons made out of metal with the various joints there for Gromit. And here you can see all of Wallace's different mouths for different expressions. How cool is that? If any of you aren't familiar with these characters, Wallace and Gromit is stop frame animation, hence all the different mouths that they would swap in to create the different speaking. This is interesting. You have different dinner setups throughout the years. So this one here is the post-war working man's supper from 1948. You may recognise some of this. And then round here, we have a middle-class dinner party in Redland from 1880. And it also tells you what would be on the plate as well. So you can get an idea of the menu then and what they're talking about. And a medieval weaver and his family at about $13.50. That was probably a meal of pottage and soupy stew of cabbage, onions, oats and beans with coarse dark bread and cheese. Let me know in the comments what you think the typical meal would be for this day and age. And there's a roof terrace up here where you can get a fantastic view across the water. That was fantastic. I definitely recommend a little look around here if you do come to Bristol. Really interesting museum. It had loads and loads of different areas and things to look at. And yeah, it's completely free. There's a recommended donation of £5 if you would like to. So you can take the ferry here. It stops at a few different places. We're going to head to the cottage. It's £4 per adult. And that should take us in the direction of Clifton, see the suspension bridge and have a look around that area over there. And when I say ferry, they're more like a little boat. And I've grabbed a little coffee from a place called Society Cafe. Got myself a little flat white to pick me up. So that building over there is the hostel. And you can see the walk across here to the museum, the M-Shed Museum that we went to earlier, which runs right the way along the side of the river here. And we're just passing the Matthew. I am a little bit out of breath because it is now a steep walk up the hill to Clifton Village, where we can get a good view of the Clifton Suspension Bridge, and I think we're going to grab some dinner there as well. Just coming up into Clifton now, and it looks like they've got some good charity shops here. There is a Oxfam, a shelter, Mary's Living and Giving. Made it up here a little bit late for the charity shops today, but yeah, looks like there's some good ones if you want to do some thrifting in Bristol. Well, the houses here are rather fabulous, aren't they? All the different colours, and you've got the beautiful, great big, I think these must be Georgian, I'm guessing, I'm not entirely sure. But this apparently is one of the longest crescents in all of Europe. It's absolutely stunning. They're all lovely different colours. I'm wondering if they consult each other to decide which colours they are, because they're all very muted yellows and blues. There's not too much, I mean, the way of the bright colours, but lots of the houses around here do have the really brightly coloured fronts, which looks fab. And yeah, you've got fantastic views here over the hills. So we're just wandering around now. We're going to go through Clifton and then we're going to head to get a nice view of the suspension bridge. So here we are, the Clifton suspension bridge, designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel between 1806 and 1859. How about that? You can actually walk across it as well. So there's a really nice green just behind me that a few people are enjoying a picnic on, and just down there is the hotel as well. I've forgotten, oh, something just landed on me. I think that was a sycamore. Anyway, yeah, there's a hotel down there as well that has a really nice terrace that looks out over onto the Avon Gorge here. And yeah, we're just approaching the bridge now, and it is such a spectacular construction. From here you can get a really good view down into the Avon Gorge, and also you can see how the bridge is suspended. With this being a suspension bridge, you can feel a little bit of movement, a little bit of bounce, which always makes my legs turn to jelly, especially if it's up high like this. So yeah, it's going to head over to the other side and have a little look, and then I think it will definitely be time for some dinner. We've got the steps in today. So a little bit further up the hill, you have the 360 at the observatory, which is open daily. There's a cafe here and also a rooftop terrace, which has spectacular views down over the bridge. Then you have the Clifton Observatory itself, and this has access down to the Giant's Cave. So I think you go down through all the rock and then you'll come out, yeah, at the side of the rock there. You can kind of see that from the bridge and get a good view back over to the bridge from there. And the Clifton Observatory also houses one of the oldest working camera obscuras in the UK. What a lovely day it has been. We're going to go for some dinner now in Zizi. There's a few nice restaurants up in this part of town. I've spotted a Coat and a Ivy Brasserie as well. So yeah, we're going to go for a nice dinner and then wander back to the hostel. And I will update you tomorrow as to what sleeping in the hostel is like in our dormitory room. Okay, it is review time. It's the next day. I slept okay. I was definitely tossing and turning quite a bit throughout the night. It wasn't too noisy. I think I could hear a few things. I could hear some traffic outside. Also, the seagulls were up very bright and early. I think they were probably up at 3 or 4 a.m. And also it got light quite early and there was a gap in the curtains. So the room got quite light. And, you know, obviously sharing a room when there's 4 of you as well, you might hear the odd noise too. So yeah, depending on obviously how lightly you sleep is probably going to be factoring how well you sleep, I guess, if you stay in a space like this, especially if there is a group of you. But I was thinking that, you know, a space like this is perfect for a few friends who are happy just to, you know, go away for one evening together. I don't think I'd want to do more than one evening in a group in a dormitory like this, but great for that, great fun. You know, it's really fun to kind of hang out in the dormitory. I did pack my earplugs, which I'm very glad that I did pack, because I think they really helped me get a good night's sleep. I also packed an eye mask, which I forgot to put on. It was actually in my bag, which was away from my bunk, and I didn't want to get up. You know, once you're in the top bunk, you're kind of committed. So I stayed up there for the night without my eye mask on. But I would say definitely pack earplugs or eye mask if you are staying in a hostel. And they do have them available at reception as well. I think it was like £1.50 to buy a pair of earplugs if you want to buy some down there. So I thought I'd do a little review of the Megabus and talk to you about the prices, and then also the experience of staying here in the YHA Bristol as well. So starting off with the Megabus. Well, first of all, let's talk about the price, because this journey cost only £2.99 each way per person, which I think is an absolute bargain. It goes from London Victoria Coach Station, so a really convenient central location in London, and then it takes you straight the way out of London on a really scenic route. You're passing a lot of Chelsea, you're going past where the flower show is, you see a lot of the Thames, and then you're straight down the motorway all the way to Bristol. So this particular coach doesn't stop anywhere. So once you're on, you're kind of settled, you know, there's not other people getting on and getting off and moving seats. We did pay an extra £1 each for a seat reservation, which allowed us to book seats right at the front of the coach. So if you're somebody that gets travel sick, if you book it way in advance, you can probably get those front seats. And also there's a £1 reservation fee. That's a £1 reservation fee, whether it's a group of you or whether it's just yourself, it's going to be that £1 as well. So with all of that added up, with the fees on top, that worked out at £8.23 return per person, which I think is an incredible price. And the coach itself, it was comfortable. I think the seats were quite small, quite compact. When you're sitting next to somebody, there's no armrest that comes down in between you. I think some of the more modern coaches do have more space on them. I think some of them have the bigger leather reclining seats. I think some of them also have Wi-Fi on board and they're double decker. This was a smaller one. There was USB chargers, which is really handy, so I was able to keep my phone charged up for the entire journey, and it was comfortable, but I think I probably wouldn't want to do any more time on that coach. 2.5 hours was enough. The coach was half an hour delayed coming out of Victoria, but it was just the 2.5 hours as planned to get to Bristol, so that was absolutely fine. And if you want to take a big suitcase with you, there's place kind of underneath on the coach that you can store big suitcases too. So yeah, overall I was impressed by the Megabus for a really affordable way to travel and to experience a new city. Moving on to the hostel, the YHA Bristol. Well, let's start off with the price. So the booking for the 4-bed dormitory, which is a group booking, you know, it means that 4 of you can sleep in here. I was thinking this could be really good for families, you know, if there's 2 of you and you've got a couple of kids with you, or groups of friends. Basically, anybody that wants a little bit more privacy. You can obviously book beds in the shared dormitories for a much cheaper price. But for the 4-bedroom group dormitory, it was £67.50, which works out at £16.87 per person. So a really good price again. The facilities here I think are really good. There's a fantastically equipped kitchen area so you can cook your own food. It had a really good fridge in there, good hob, nice and clean and tidy, plenty of equipment to use and spaces in there to eat. It also has quite a nice bar area when you come in, which is also doubling up as the reception. Somewhere that you could sit and relax, get a drink from the bar. There's water that you can help yourself to. And there's also lots of information about the surrounding areas, including some really handy cards that show you some different walks that you can do around Bristol and things you can do in the area around the hostel. There's also a luggage room, which is really handy, so you can store your bags on the day of arrival if you get here before check-in, which is at 3 p.m. and also once you've checked out. So checkout is at 10 a.m. so if you want to leave your luggage behind while you do some more exploring, you have the option to do that and it's free of charge. They don't supply towels, so if you want to hire a towel from reception, it's £2.50 for the hire, but the beds do have bedding on them, so it's a very simple sheet on the mattress, duvet and a pretty flat pillow, to be honest with you, and the mattresses are pretty flat as well, not super kind of thick and luxurious, but they're actually fine to sleep on. I found them quite comfortable, particularly if you like a firm mattress. You'll be absolutely fine. The room's really clean, it's carpeted, it's got a beautiful window with a view over onto the old town here in Bristol. And this one actually has an ensuite shower, a toilet, and also a sink, like a basin in the room. Really handy, obviously, to have those facilities, but if you book some of the other dormitories, you're then just going down the corridor to use the bathrooms that way. So for a night away from London, including travel and accommodation to a really fascinating and vibrant city, I really enjoyed Bristol. This has only cost £25.10 per person, which I think cannot be beaten. I mean, maybe if we went camping somewhere perhaps, but you know, if you want to explore a city for a city break, I don't think this can be beaten on price. But yeah, if you haven't stayed in a YHA hostel and you are intrigued and you would like to see what other ones they have all around the UK, then I'll leave their website in the description box. I'll also link the Megabus if you want to check out some of their deals. They do some really interesting routes around the UK. So yeah, in the past, I mean, years and years ago, I went all the way up to Dundee on one overnight. Don't think I'd particularly recommend that, but I think it was about £12 at the time, so it was a real bargain. And yeah, it's worth having a look if you want to maybe explore a new city, you don't want to take your car, you don't have a car. Often the train prices can be so expensive these days, so it might be worth checking those out and seeing where they go to, because they might go to a really interesting place where you live. Another thing with staying here is it does feel nice and safe and secure. There's plenty of CCTV in all the communal areas, and also on check-in you do have to provide photo ID. So that's not just per booking. Every single person that is staying here has to provide a photo ID on check-in, and it has a really welcoming and friendly atmosphere here, so I think it's the perfect place to stay if you are a solo traveller and you want to maybe meet some fellow travellers or just be around other people while you're exploring. It's a really nice vibe here, so I highly recommend it. But yeah, Bristol has been a fabulous city. I have been here years ago, but this is the first time I've really properly explored it, and I'll definitely be back. So yeah, it's time for me to check out now and head back to London. I've got a little bit of time before I head back, so I will leave you with a little bit of a montage of what I get up to for the rest of today before heading back to London. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for being here as always. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.